What up, guys? I am Chun Nathan from Chun Nation, and today I'm telling you how to turn your clock into something so good and so nice that you could be able to get world records if you actually practiced. Now, step uno, you need a Chi clock, a Chi 2020 magnetic clock, which is this kind of clock. You don't want any of those crappy diamond clocks like this one, which is broken after I do it. No, you want one of these clocks, right? Now, I already took out all the screws, which actually leads me to the next step, which is to take out all of the screws. Now, if you don't already know this here because you're like blind or something, which is fine, then as you can see, I replaced all of the screws for black tape. And this is actually something very common for top solvers, as solvers do not like screws because then their clocks will turn slow. So what they do is that they take out the screws, as you can see I also took out the bolts, and they put tape on. Now, I prefer using black tape. Number one, black tape is just better on everything. Like on watches, cars, tapes, people, everything. And number two, it just looks better. Because, well, it might be my autism speaking if I have any, but it just looks better. And you can use transparent tape if you want to, but black tape just looks so much better. Now, step trace, which is 3. Gotta disassemble the clock, which sounds pretty hard in general, but in reality, all you gotta do is just take off this tape. Yeah, take off the first tape. This might take a bit of a while because I don't really know how to work properly. Now that we got all the tape off, as you can absolutely see here, put the tape on the side and try not to make them so that they stick together, because then the tape won't have such a good effect once you put it back on. What we're gonna do, gotta take this thing off. Now this is crucial, okay? So what we're gonna do is that we have this little frame thingy, and what we gotta do is gotta take what we're gonna do is that we gotta grab one of these little towel thingies. I have toilet paper, and hold on, give me 1 second, chat. Now, like I said before, I grabbed some lube, which if you don't know what lube is, then you should probably already know if you're watching this video. And now, what we're gonna do is that we have the lube, and we're gonna do something a bit unorthodox. Now, usually in cubes, you usually just put the lube straight in there. But what we're gonna do is that since we have our toilet paper, we're gonna straighten it out a bit. Maybe fold it up. Okay, now it's folded so that way it doesn't drip onto the table. We open this little cappy cap. And all I gotta do is just squirt a lot under. And the reason why we're doing this is that we're actually gonna directly smear it onto here. So I'm gonna do a time lapse on smear this on. Now we got through one side, so now what we're actually gonna do is that we're actually gonna sort of clean this up a bit. And
what we gotta do, sorry, some tape got stuck to it. Get this off me! Anyways,
have a little paper. I'm just gonna directly try to clean up anything that's over here. The reason we're doing this is because that way, when I put this back on, I can see I applied a bit over here. You can't already see it. Now I'm just gonna apply this back on, and we're gonna start the other side. So we take this off. Then we apply the lube onto here. Let me just fold this up real quick. We still have some lube here. I'm just gonna directly apply it onto here. Alright, make sure you get into what the hell? Make sure you get into every crack and crevice. That's And that's not how I should say it. Anyways, you just gotta get into every part you can, any way possible. And yeah, and now what we gotta do, take a bit of this towel, and we just put this thing back on. Now, it should turn, yeah, see, now it turns a lot faster.
It tastes more crispy.
Yeah. Now, this step is kind of optional, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So, I'm gonna take this off. I'm actually gonna get it full on into the mechanism of this thingy. Now, I don't really know how this is gonna turn out. I've never done this before, but what we're gonna do, actually just gonna directly take this off, and what do you know? Now what I would do is that there's actually a special mod where it's kind of optional, like I said, but basically you can make it so that instead of this white clock being here, it's actually a black clock to make the colors very similar. Now, unfortunately, I don't really know how to... Oh. Well, then never mind. I do know how to do this. So, all I gotta do... Hello guys, it turns out that I have to do a more complicated procedure than what I am originally doing right now in order to change my clock or modify it. Now, when I said that you were allowed to change it into any variation you want, I was kind of lying because there's only a few limited options. This is me doing it the wrong way because as you can see, it doesn't really turn. And this is me doing it the right way where I actually take out all the magnets and sort of replace the magnets with different magnets but like in a different order, you know? So, anyways, that's all I really had to say. Make sure you like and subscribe and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!